Welcome to the grand opening of Palo Alto University's Mountain View campus. I'm Erica Cameron. I'm the Provost and Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs for Palo Alto University. As we open this new campus, it is important that we humbly acknowledge that the Palo Alto University campuses sit on the land of the Tamian, Ohlone speaking tribal territory, including the unceded lands of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe of the San Francisco Bay Area. For our guests joining us today, I want to acknowledge we are all members of communities that are built on traditional territories of indigenous nations. We give thanks for the opportunity to work, study, and celebrate together in their traditional homeland. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm indigenous sovereignty forevermore. We're so pleased to see all of you here today, and we have a great program ahead. We hope you'll stay around after the tour, the tour of the building and join us for lunch. It is now my pleasure to introduce Chair of Palo Alto University's Board of Trustees, Dan Kostenbotter.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Palo Alto University, I want to welcome all of you today to our new campus here in Mountain View, and thank you for supporting the launch. I've had the privilege of serving on the PAU board for many, many years, and this is truly an exciting and important moment for Palo Alto University. Our move to Mountain View allows us to move forward and advance the mission of education, research, and training in psychology and counseling. And this is during a time of critical need, so this is very important. The board and I could not be more pleased that PAU's new campus is in a community that is also committed to addressing the mental health needs and challenges that we face today. We look forward to partnering with many of you and serving the community through our Gronowski Center, which has provided evidence-based support and mental health care in the region since 1988. With that, it is now my distinct honor to introduce and present our president, Maureen O'Connor.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm just thrilled to see all of you. There's more seats, so any of you who are standing, come on down. I'm so excited to be standing here in our new location. Some of you know, it's been a few months to get us here. Well, maybe that's actually years, but we don't have to go into all that. But when I joined PAU 6 years ago, I was excited to have the opportunity to lead an entire university dedicated to what I care about, psychology and counseling, and to making a difference in the mental health and well-being of our communities. Now today, 6 years later, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joining on behalf of the entire university with another incredible community, the city of Mountain View. Many of you have played a significant role in getting us to this moment, many of you in this room. And I want to acknowledge a number of people. We have a number of officials with us today. We have, of course, our mayor and the Chamber of Commerce, the city council members from Mountain View. And I want to just thank them all for being here. We have Nicholas Hargis here from Congresswoman Anna Eshoo's office. Appreciate the support of the Congresswoman and very much appreciate that. And I want to thank all of those who have come to support us today. I'd also like to thank our generous sponsors who made this event possible for us. Our master's level sponsors are Intermountain Electric, which is why we can see each other and hear each other. Jorge Wong, our amazing trustee and alum, very much appreciate his support. Yay, yay, yay. Rodan Builders, who have done an outstanding job in getting this campus ready for us, and Sentinel One and the S Foundation for their tremendous support. So thank you to our master's level sponsors. Our bachelor's level sponsors are PAU President Emeritus Alan Calvin. I'm so thrilled, and his wonderful wife Dorothy. They are big supporters of ours. They're not here with us today, but they send their greetings to all of us. Sandhill Global Advisors, the Santa Clara and San Mateo County Psychological Associations who are represented here today. Thank you all so much. Many of our alums are involved in those important organizations. Swinnerton Management and Consultant, without whom we would not be here at all, literally, and the Vartain Law Group. So big thank you to our bachelor's level sponsors. Thank you also to our honorary committee, many of you in the room that we've just joined upstairs. They really brought us together with the community in so many important ways with all the partnerships that we have and hope to have even more in the future. So thank you to all of our honorary committee members for being here. So for over 4 decades now, PAU has been singularly dedicated to being a leader in the education, research, and training in clinical practice in the fields of psychology and counseling. Today, we celebrate joining the City of Mountain View as we expand our reach to serve its diverse needs as well. This wonderful location will be home to our teaching and training clinic, the Gronowski Center. Our wonderful clinic director is with us in the audience here, Dr. Macias and her incredible staff. The Clinica Latina, which is part of our clinics, the Sexual and Gender Identity Clinic, which is an important part of our work at PAU, and our e-clinic, which is our teletherapy training and advanced clinic working on both research and training in the best use of technology in mental health support. In addition to that, we see over 400 clients at in our training clinics, and some of those clients will come through these doors and be served upstairs in our new clinic space, while others will continue to be served through our incredible teletherapy services. I want to give a shout out again to our incredible staff of the clinic, of all our clinics. They do fantastic work. They train our students and serve our clients and prepare them to send out to you, all of you in the agencies. Whenever I'm talking to any of you in the community, you say your students are so well prepared, and that's because of the work that we do in our training clinics. So in addition to offering clinical services, Mountain View campus will house classrooms, so this will be one of the classrooms. There are another 2 classrooms upstairs, you'll see. We have faculty offices here for shared and for consulting, for advising, for teaching, and we have a wonderful space for student support. Our student success team will have a base down here to support our students. We also intend to use this space, especially in the evenings, weekends, whenever we can use it, to have community events, to partner, to do workshops, trainings, to offer services, programs for the school perhaps across the street, for others that need, that could benefit from that. So we're looking for opportunities to partner for those kind of events as well, and we feel like this space will really be a great community gathering space for those sorts of events. So as we considered locations, we looked at many. Where's my friend Matt? We looked at many spaces, but what really came together for us in this space is, first of all, and I mentioned this upstairs, but it's important to understand that the City of Mountain View has done such a good job with accessibility for our public transportation. It is not that easy to look for spaces that require access to public transportation so that our clients and our students and our faculty can get here safely and effectively. The other part about that is not just the train and the bus, but the bike lanes, which really give us great access, and of course the amazing amenities that are available on Castro Street for all of our community to benefit from. Another thing is that we thought we have several partners, SHAC, Life Moves, ACCI, others who do a lot of work already in Mountain View, and so this really gave us an opportunity to solidify that connection with those partners. And it really allows us to embed ourselves in a community that shares our values. In all of my interactions with the city leadership and the chamber and all of the various folks that have been so supportive of us, I can see how much they care about these things. Their support of SHAC and other agencies is longstanding, and I think we can really work very, very well together. So while we are celebrating this morning, let's not forget why we are here. There is a critical need for mental health services, and we do have a shortage of mental health professionals. In January, the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors declared a mental health and substance abuse crisis in the county, which includes difficulty in filling openings for mental health workers. While PAU does its part, we graduate 100 new clinical psychologists every year and about 150 new mental health counselors every year. This is not enough to fill the needs of the workforce. There's more to be done, and we're eager to partner with all of you to address the workforce needs and to think creatively about how to address those challenges. We're honored today to have with us a leading expert on these matters to offer some perspective on the state's mental health challenges. Joe Farrow is the president of the board of directors of the California National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, NAMI. Many of you know it. He's also the chief of police of the UC Davis campus and was previously the commissioner of the California Highway Patrol System. Based on his work in law enforcement and based on his own experiences, he knows that the need for effective mental health treatment and services are critical to our ability to help families in need. There's nothing we can do if those needs are not addressed. He partnered with NAMI early on to learn best practices to support those most at risk and to share these practices with law enforcement personnel throughout California. Joe is honored to serve as a bridge between law enforcement and mental health professionals, and we're honored to have him with us here today to offer his insight. Please join me in welcoming Joe Farrow.
Thank you, Maureen. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start with my prepared remarks, I'm just in awe, and I'm extremely humbled to be here today. I've looked forward to this event for quite some time when Senator Bell reached out and asked me if I would come down. And first, I wasn't even sure what my role would be, but it just took me a few minutes to say, yes, of course, I really need to be here. I want to congratulate you on your new building. I certainly know that the journey to move into something like this takes a long time. There's a lot of planning. You certainly have laid it out, Maureen, very well, of the difficulties to do something like this. And today, of course, then is a day of celebration for the success of getting this building. But it's not the success that I really want to talk about. It's really the significance of what this building really means. And then you're probably sitting there asking yourself, well, how do we open in a building like this and we have a chief of police from the University of California coming down to be our keynote speaker? How does that happen? And I question that sometimes myself, but it's really the journey. And the journey for me, I just want to tell you this story to really illustrate the significance of what you do, and what you do matters so greatly. And I want to talk to you from a professional, but also as a family member, and talk to you about why NAMI is here and why NAMI supports everything that you do. And I wanted to share with you just 10 minutes ago to bring things home. I just got a text from one of my lieutenants. We had a young student on our campus just last night went into crisis intervention dealing with gender identity and the difficulties of college life as an 18-year-old. And we were able to get her to a place of safety. She's having the help that she needs today. But if we think for a second that our job is done, it's not. We are surrounded by crises. We're surrounded by a lot of people who need help. And through these doors over the next few decades, many, many decades, will walk the practitioners who will be the change agents. And that's really why I'm here, is to plot that. But my journey is really, really simple. When I was 20 years old, I was a police officer in the city of Pacific Grove. I'd been employed there for about 4 months, and I received a call, a disturbance call, where I walked up to a door and knocked on the door, and a young girl, age 20, came to the door. She looked at me with some glass eyes. She looked like she was terrified. She looked scared, and before I could say one word, she had a .22 caliber gun in her hand, and she raised it up, pulled the trigger underneath her chin, and committed suicide. She fell in my arms. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I brought her down to the ground and for 10 minutes while we waited what seemed like 10 hours for the fire department, the paramedics to come. I started to reflect on what just happened. How does this happen? How does this happen to this young girl at this tender age? You fast forward 4 months later, I run into a classmate of mine that I went to high school with. It was the exact same scenario. So I grew up in this area where I was asking questions about how does this occur and how does this happen? and what is our response and really what it should be. Then I had the privilege of being appointed by then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, reconfirmed by Jerry Brown. That's where I met Senator Bell. We worked together for 10 years leading the California Highway Patrol. And I thought the California Highway Patrol did it right. I thought we had all the answers. I thought we had the best training in the country. I thought we were approaching things the right way. And all of a sudden, one day on a cold, dark LA freeway, we encounter a woman going through crisis, and we did everything wrong. We didn't approach it the right way. We criminalized something that should never be criminalized. There was probably a stigma attached to that at the time, and we didn't do it right. And for me, that was an eye-opening that I am now in a position of power. I'm in a position where we can actually change the narrative in California about how police respond to critical incidents and how we can partner with people like yourself, the people in this room, to make things a little bit better. And it was also a time for me to have self-reflection where something that I had hidden for over 20 years, that I have a brother that suffered many, many, many years ago from acute schizophrenia, dual personality. And my response back at the time, not pridefully, but I will tell you, was one of abandonment. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what the answers were. So my simple response was to retreat, abandon, and go about my life. But that day, then, on that cold LA freeway, when I really started to look at what we did was so inherently wrong, I reached out. I became part of the solution. I became part of the discussion. I became part of the partnership to help my brother have a sense of individuality, self-worth, and control, and be an active member and a community member that actually participated. And I'd like to tell you now, over the last 10 years, that we have a great relationship. We see each other all the time. We work very closely together. And he is living a productive life up in Seattle, and it's one of that I want to applaud always. So for me, when I come down here and have the ability to speak to you just for a few minutes, I just want to remind you of that partnership. There are many people involved in mental health. There are many people involved in the crises. There are many people trying really, really hard to find the solutions and to remove the stigma. And in this room is the talent and the work that makes me fulfilled, and I feel so good about what we do. And I'll just end by saying this is the way that I always like to bring things together is no one in this room can do it by themselves. You cannot be isolated. You cannot be on your own. You have to work as a team. And I'm always reminded of this great state. The symbols of the state is our redwood trees. And if you go north and you see the giant redwood trees that stand sometimes 300, 400, 500 feet tall, and they've been there for 1,000 years, you'll notice one thing about those trees is the roots grow morely above the ground. They don't go penetrating deep. They sit kind of high off the ground, but they wrap their roots around each other, and they hold on really, 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 really tight, because when those high winds, the rains in Northern California come, if they try to stand by themselves, they'll topple. They stand because they're connected. They stand because their roots are together. That's what NAMI tries to strive for, is to stand with you, wrap our roots together, be one, applaud the efforts of all of us as we work individually to try to remove stigma and try to make better lives for people suffering from mental health and their families. So for me, I congratulate on your hard work. Your journey has been long, but look what we have here today, a very, very nice facility surrounded with people who really care with the greatest of hearts and the greatest of concern. Maureen, I think you've done a fabulous job of putting us all together. I want to congratulate each and every one, and thank you very much for something that was therapeutic for me, but at the same time, me to wish you well on your journey, and congratulations. Okay.
I was telling Joe recently that when I started graduate school in Tucson, Arizona, we got a call that my sister-in-law had been hospitalized with a mental health crisis. She suffers with schizophrenia. And in the pre-Google days, pre-internet days, my husband and I opened the phone book, the yellow pages, in Tucson, and at the top of the A's was the Alliance for the Mentally Ill of Southern Arizona. And my husband and I looked at each other and I said, I don't know what that is, but maybe they can help us. And we became extremely involved in the NAMI chapter in Tucson. We were the chairs. We did, you can imagine, knowing me a little bit, how we got involved. But it's been a very important part of my life. Just honored to have NAMI with us today. As Joe said, our value this year is community at PAU, and no one can deal with the stress and challenges of mental health challenges without working together. So I'm just thrilled to have you with us, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, before we adjourn, I'm not going to take too much more of your time, but I do want to thank a few people. I could be here for the next month thanking people, so I'm probably going to leave someone out, so please don't feel bad if I do, but here we go. I first want to thank Jim Bell, Matt Levin, and Karen Skusel, our trustee members of the Opening Event Planning Committee, for their incredible leadership. Thank you for working tirelessly to make today a great success. I'd also like to thank our staff co-chairs who led the planning for this event, our Vice President for External Affairs, Camille Watson, and our Director of Development, Ann Farah. Very amazing work. A big thank you to the rest of the committee, Rebecca Levy, Crystal Nezal, Adriana Rodriguez, and all of the team in External Affairs, in IT, in facilities, in so many of you had a role to play. I want to call out in particular our new Director of Facilities, Craig Strong, who did incredible work. If some of you could have seen this building last Thursday, you would not believe that we were going to be here today. I also want to thank, again, Jeff G. and the team at Swinnerton, Linda Rizzoli, who's here with us, who really was so amazing in getting this building into shape and stuck with it in a way that I can only say is the most stick-to-itiveness I have ever witnessed, and I really, really appreciate it. I also want to acknowledge, I don't know if Roger Fields and his team is here today, but I want to acknowledge our Peninsula landlords for this building. They have been absolutely terrific to work with, big supporters and patient with us, and I look very forward to many years of working with them. So let's give everybody a big round of applause. Thank you. So now we can have some fun. When you leave the room, you'll be handed a map to the building, apparently. Is that correct? Yes. And we encourage you to head upstairs. There are self-guided tours. There are people upstairs to answer questions, for you to learn more about PAUs, all of our incredible academic offerings, our student life, our continuing professional studies program, alumni, our wonderful director of alumni, Chloe Cochran, will be up there to talk to you. So, and there's a selfie station out here, so please take a selfie, tag yourself, and do whatever that is that needs to be done for social media. And then after that, we will serve lunch down here. For those of you who can stay, we'll have a light lunch, and then there are tables and things outside for all of you to join. So this is a truly exciting day in our history. I am so thrilled that you're all here, and let's enjoy the building. Thank you. Thank you so much.